All right, guys, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And of course, thanks for subscribing. We're back at it. We've got the latest update, FSD Beta 12.3.1. And this is a point release that's supposed to address some of the nagging issues with 12.3. 12.3 is phenomenal, and it kind of seems like we're nitpicking, but there are some things that have some real consequences when it comes to proximity. I suggested that the Model S and X were not being considered for their wider stances, as the data predominantly was driven by Model Y and Model 3s, that the car wasn't aware of its width and its size. But it seems like Model 3 and Model Y are also suffering from the same issue. I just think it's now exaggerated now with the Model S and X, causing some people to hit curbs, causing some people to have flat tires, curb their rims, all that good stuff. Luckily, we are not one of them, knock on carbon fiber. But we've had some really bad close calls that we want to address. So hopefully this addresses those issues. That's what we're going to be looking out for predominantly this drive, do our test path and see if the proximity issue has been addressed. We also want to test to see if the auto offset has been fixed, where it sort of varies the speed randomly where you don't expect it, and when you do expect it to speed up, it doesn't. So those are the things we're going to test on our quick test path on 12.3.1. We'll jump into it right now. I'll pull up the camera so you guys can see and pay attention to the proximity as we take the turns and compare it to the last one as well. Let's get it. We're also going to test for regressions. Hopefully it doesn't have any regressions. I said that's going to be the biggest tell for how successful this framework of version 12 is going to be, based on its ability to control regressions. All clear on the left, good to go. And it goes. Last time it did this particular second turn, so good for the first turn, but for the second turn, it stays in the lane and doesn't drift into the bike lane, which gives it plenty of clearance to make a good, nice, concise turn. Let's see if it continues that behavior. Otherwise, I'm going to call it as a regression. Speed auto offset, no one's around except for a car behind us. Going 26 into 25, not bad. Making the second turn, slowing down nicely. Doesn't get into the bike lane. Keep an eye on the proximity. Good job there. Good job. I like that. Winding road. Makes the turn. Doesn't get too, okay, turn signal still on, so that's not a good thing. Little close here. Oh, very close for my comfort, so that's not great. I'll flag it just because it's tight, but it competently got around that curve, so I'm not having a problem with it doing that. Just again, preferential, trying to avoid an issue, avoid debris, avoid a scenario that's going to curb a tire or get a nail or a screw in the tire, because it doesn't need to be that close. This is a wide road. All right, great job on the winding road, minus that first little bend. Now we're coming up on our unprotected left. Did an excellent job last time. Probably a little bit more traffic this time. Stopping well before the limit line again. A bus is coming to the right. Goes up to the limit line. Goes for it before the bus, but doesn't go fast enough. Don't love it. And now we have a detour. Detour here. Can I handle this? Okay, no turn signal. Kind of close. But good job here. So there's a little bit of a deviation from our normal path because they blocked off the street. Let's just go with it and run with it and still test the same metrics that we're going to test. We'll do another go around when they clear the street, but let's just test to see what the workaround does in terms of speed auto offset as well as proximity to things. That was a great job handling it. Wish it would have put the turn signal on when it made that turn for the detour, but it did a good job of recognizing the detour, adhering to it, and not trying to blow right through it. Good job controlling for this turn. Good job there. Not a problem. This particular path is actually going to put us on a path of several speed bumps, which should be a good test to see if that's still good, meaning it slows down sufficiently for speed bumps. Good job staying towards the center line with the parked cars here. Let's see if it adjusts in this little middle ground here. It does adjust a little bit, strays a little bit left, right of the center line here, just because it has a little bit more leeway, but not so much that it needs to adjust for the parked cars. Slows down in anticipation of what this person's going to do here with the door open, which is nice. Gives them a lot of room going over the yellow line, which is acceptable here because no oncoming cars. Speed bump, doesn't really see it, but it wasn't a big one, so not terrible, but it wasn't a big enough speed bump, I think, for it to recognize it. Okay, 22 and a 25, which is great. This is a school zone, but it's not active right now. So for those in the comments who talk about speeding in the school zone speed limits are active on certain periods of time, specifically when children are present or during certain times of the day. If that's not the case, then it becomes a regular speed limit. That can be, that should be adhered to, obviously, but in certain instances, if you need to go over a little bit or the flow of traffic is a little faster, that's not terrible. I'm not going to say it's acceptable because obviously you shouldn't go over the speed limit, but it's not terrible. Good job on this one. It's pretty center, maybe a little close to these cars, but again, that's super preferential. Don't worry about that. But so far, I've not really seen, here we go. Still indecisive for the turning lanes. Flagging that one. It needs to know specifically what either the signage on the ground or the map data. It needs to understand what lane it needs to be in. It can't just waffle back and forth. But it followed the same behavior as last time where it waffled and then committed. So it said, hey, I want to go here. Oh, I want to go here. I'm going to go here and commit and not just still kind of go back and forth. Version 11 would have been twitching and trying to figure out what lane it needed to be in at the last minute and wouldn't commit. The commit is what was the game changer in this version 12. All clear to go. A little hesitancy for the pedestrian, but we're good. Takes off nice and strong. A narrower street. Let's see what happens. Nice tight. Little red arcs on the proximity, but nice and tight. This is a tighter street than the streets we've been driving, so that's okay. It's two-way traffic coming down. No center line to divide them. So it's doing a great job so far. This is a public transport bus or shuttle. It's going to stop at the train track. And hopefully we don't get caught at the train track. Car is going to take its time. Is it going to stop on the train tracks? It is stopping on the train tracks. Not great. Should have waited and let this car go. I'll let this complete this maneuver and then I'll flag it. Should definitely let the truck clear the railroad crossing and then go past so it doesn't get stuck on the train tracks. It has the right to go, and it goes. Good job here. Avoids the debris here. It doesn't visualize it, but avoids it and pulls over nicely for our destination now that we're coming from this angle. All right. All good. I think. You still thinking? Are we here? I think we're here. All right. All right, guys. Let me know what you thought about that drive. I thought it was pretty good, but let me know in the comments what you thought about it. A little bit of a deviation, so we had to kind of scrap our traditional metrics that we measure for our regression testing, minus what we could actually get through. So up until the unprotected left, we couldn't do the traffic lights. We did another version of the train crossing, and we did the final turn. I guess this can be considered a second turn. And then we added some speed bumps. So I'm going to scrap the metrics. I'll leave the metrics as they are. But just overall, let me tell you how I felt. In terms of comfort, I'm still going to give it a 9. That was a great drive. I didn't feel uncomfortable, except for when I was on the train track. So that made me feel a little uncomfortable, but there wasn't a train coming, so it wasn't terrible. But I still want to give an overall level of 9. I'm going to tell you where I'm going to ding that for the decision of making. I'm going to make it on decision making. So confidence, I want to give it a 9 as well. Still very confident, still very competent. Especially taking off from lights, accelerating, and then committing. Whatever it decides to do, as long as it commits to it, I'm okay with that. That's the unprotected left. Kind of at the last minute in front of that bus. A little bit weird there. But I think it was still strong in its commitment. It didn't stop. It didn't go slower. It sped up and got up to speed and went fast. So that was great. And then in terms of decision making, that's where we're going to ding it. We're going to give it a 7.5 on this one. 7.5. Down from 9 from the last one, only because it could have had a bigger buffer between the bus for the unprotected left, right? It made the decision to not wait for the shuttle bus to cross the train tracks before it made its maneuver, and therefore we were on the train tracks. So that was a bad decision to make. So that's why I'm dinging it on decision versus comfort or confidence, right? And then lastly, when in terms of the decision to get in the proper straight lane, when you see the signage on the ground, it kind of waffled a little bit. So I think decision making, that's where it was. Where I'm also going to ding it, I'm going to ding it on safety. I think overall it was a pretty safe drive, but obviously I'm on the train track and I'm stopped behind a shuttle bus. And if the guardrails came down, a train was coming, we could have been in this situation. So for safety, I'm going to give it an 8, right? An 8. So 8 down from 9 from the last one. So in this particular drive, we got 9 for level of comfort, 9 for level of confidence, which are still there, still exudes, but decision making gets a 7.5. And safety gets an 8 because it just, again, I didn't feel as safe sitting on the train track, not knowing what could happen there. So that wasn't great. And I also didn't feel as good getting out ahead of that bus. I thought we could have used a little bit more speed, a little bit more timing in the window, meaning it could have went a little sooner because nothing was coming from the left and it waited till the bus got kind of close before it jumped out there. So these are all things that are real world situations, real world scenarios. It could have happened in 12.3 as well. I'm not sure. We didn't have that exact same scenario. But again, this is what we're discovering as we go along. In terms of proximity and the other things that we talked about measuring, it seemed like it kept a good distance. It wasn't too close to the turns, except for that first bend, a little close to my comfort, but it wasn't uncomfortable like some of the ones on 12.3 where it feels like you're going to hit the curb. So that wasn't great. But again, we didn't have too many of those turns, those sharp right and left turns in this particular drive. I'll test it out in some more drives and see if it's persistent. All right. And then auto offset seemed to be pretty straightforward. It didn't seem to be any noticeably better or worse, but it got the job done. So I'll test some more. We'll start to really hone in on the proximity, hone in on the auto offset from here, and see what we do. All right. Until the next time, enjoy your day. Enjoy your Tesla.